Good afternoon, good morning, good evening. This is the Business Brunch. I'm Melinda Ward, and we are really happy to have you along for the ride. We are, uh,
Even Snowball's happy.
yeah. We is two this week. I've got Vanessa Ashworth with me, and our usual third host, Sarah Farmer, is supporting us from afar this week, but she will be back next week. Um, just for those who haven't joined us before, we are your working from home team, and we are here to help you learn stuff, get new insights, get help, ask questions, get interesting information that you can put into use to help you connect, learn, and thrive. And we are and evolve too. And we were just talking about this. Is it thrive or evolve? And actually, it's both. Because if you're thriving, you will evolve.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Um,
Well covered. Well
so
covered.
drop a note in the comments and let us know that you're there and where you're from. And also, if you got up to anything interesting over the weekend. Just a reminder for those who are new to our show that we stream on multiple platforms. We've got about 8, 9 different platforms that we stream to all at the same time. So if you're typing comments, you will only see the comments that are from the stream to which you are connected. But that does not mean that you are alone. We see the comments from all of the streams so that we can then answer questions and, start having that conversation. Now, if you happen to want to connect within the stream that you're in where people can see your comments, feel free to indicate if you're open to connect. People are happy to jump in on your LinkedIn platform and connect with you and maybe offer some one-to-one insights. And that's about it for the introduction. So first up, I will pass over to Vanessa to tell us, first off, a little bit about yourself and how was your weekend?
So hello. Yeah, so I'm Vanessa Ashworth and I am a marketer of many, many years, B2B, currently working for a software testing company, 2i. Before that, I was a marketing contractor. So I did a lot of work to build my brand on LinkedIn. And really, it was quite difficult marketing myself rather than marketing a product or a company. And so I really built up my marketing knowledge by having to turn it onto me. And that's partially what I'm talking about this morning or this afternoon, wherever we are. I'm going to be talking about doing LinkedIn videos, which is something I never, ever thought I would do. So that's the topic of today. But yes, that's what I do. People are coming in and saying hello. Ashley said, did I miss anything? But no, not yet. So yeah, tell us about your weekends. Do say hello. Do you want me to hear about my weekend? Because I'm bouncing today. I am bouncing.
I know, you're just buzzing. So I've got to hear more about why you're buzzing.
Okay. So first of all, I am celebrating today, 11th of July, 1 year without alcohol. So that's my huge achievement. So I've bought cake that I'm going to enjoy later when my son's home from school to celebrate. I'm not going to drink today. I think I've decided I probably will drink again, but I'm in no rush, and I'm going to leave it for very special occasions because I can live without it. So I've no need to.
And that's what the year's really proven, isn't it? That that it's a choice in your situation, and it's something where you can manage that choice the way you like.
Absolutely. And the second thing is I have been interviewed this morning live on BBC Radio Lancashire to talk about my volunteering project at Rivington Terrace Gardens. So at kind of 7 o'clock this morning, I was kind of hiking up a hill to go and be to be interviewed at the gardens. And it went really, really well, I think. So check my earlier posts to get the link to that. It's only 4 minutes if you want to go and listen. So so I'm giddy today, giddy. And then at the weekend, we had our family Christmas barbecue. So you remember
Christmas in July, though, that's a thing.
Yeah, well, and you know what? It was in my aunt and uncle's garden, and they put Christmas bunting up everywhere. It was fabulous. And we had, instead of pigs in blankets, we had pigs in beach towels. But you remember, obviously, when the pandemic was big and scary and we weren't allowed to get together for Christmas with aunties, uncles, cousins, etc., etc., then when we could gather together, we had a barbecue in summer. And before that, we'd see each other once a year. Now we see each other twice a year because it's a firm fixture in our calendar. Because it was awesome to have a barbecue and play bools and get together. So that was my weekend. How
That's
about you?
tremendous.
What was yours?
Well, I should introduce myself as well. My name's Melinda Ward, as I said. I am the Director of Consulting Solutions and Managed Services for a software support company called Helm 360. And I'm also the founder of the Consultant Mentor. And as far as my weekend, I was doing some really fun thing yesterday, and that was I went to the Royal Albert Hall in London, and I saw the film Titanic screened on a giant HD screen, but with a full orchestra, choir, and a soprano as soloist. So the soundtrack was played and sung live, which really gives a new dimension to the film, because as Vanessa and I were chatting before being on air, when you watch a film, usually it's the dialogue and the screen action that's the focus. But in this case, the focus is slightly shifted. So you can pay more attention to the mastery of the soundtrack and the composition that went into that. So really, really enjoyable. And highly recommend if you're able to get to London and get tickets for one of the films and orchestra viewings at the Royal Albert Hall. That's fantastic. And they do lots of different ones throughout the year. So it's not just a one-off, but the Titanic one was just this weekend.
Wow.
But we do have some comments that have come in, and we should say hello to our lovely entourage. We've got Andy David has said hello, and Gary Spencer as well. And of course, Ashley is here, and he has said that this past weekend he was making, sorry, I should show that. He was making a mud kitchen for his grandson. He'd mentioned that last weekend because he was our esteemed guest last week. And so that is a great, really cool thing. And also doing a charity gig for Young Lives with Cancer with his band. So quite busy and productive weekend. And he's also happy to connect in sunny Devon. And we've got Kelly Blackman from Chicago in the US. Good morning. I lived in Chicago for about 15 years, so still fond memories of there. And who else? Let's see. There we go. And Kelly is also open to any connections. Andy has said, yes, that's great. It's coming up on 3 years. Must be speaking about your
alcohol-free
anniversary in 2 weeks' time. Well done.
Congratulations. Well done. What an achievement.
Yeah. And our friend Danny is in the house.
Welcome back, Danny. Thank you.
Welcome back. And congratulations on your anniversary from several people. Danny, from Kelly, and let's see. Joanna, nice to see you. And she is saying, bring it on for the LinkedIn videos. So it is coming. Buckle in, it's coming. It's heading at you. Yeah, Danny said he saw Top Gun at Tatton Park, which is directly under the flight path from Manchester Airport. So yeah, that would be a complete surround sound, and potentially that kind of concussive pressure effect too, depending on how close the planes are as they come over. And Andy said he watched a film with his sisters, two great sisters, both award winners in their fields. Well done. 8-hour round trip, but worth it. Yeah, family time is really important, isn't it? I think that's a great opportunity to take when you have it. And Gary is saying, it's been crazy busy. Family barbecues, speaking events to emerging leaders.
Fantastic.
Fascinating. And that is the current comment list, I believe. Looks to be.
Fabulous.
So that is perfect timing to lead us into today's topic with Vanessa on LinkedIn videos. Now, last week we were talking about lots of stuff with Ashley about the idea of it doesn't have to be perfect, kind of quit the faffing and just do it. Not to hijack any sports brands, logo or anything. But basically, yeah, it does. I think a lot of us, myself included, have this notion that we shouldn't do a LinkedIn Live because maybe this isn't perfect. We don't know what we're going to say. What if we stumble over a word? What if we, lose track of our thoughts? What if there's a dog barking in the background? A cat enters the frame and photobombs? Anything could happen. But you know what? That's what makes it real, and that's what makes it interesting. Because real life is, in fact, interesting to people,
Yeah.
as opposed to kind of overly engineered studio things. So, Vanessa was thinking it would be a great idea to kind of expand on that, because she's had a great journey herself in getting away from, oh, don't know if I should. So I'm keen to hear more about this. So
Excellent. Okay, cool. So yeah, just as you were saying, don't wait for perfect, but just do video. You can't, we're never going to be perfect at this, without a full kind of stage crew, film crew, sound technicians. It's not going to be perfect, but it doesn't have to be, just as you were saying. So just really quickly now, I wasn't planning to say this, but my video journey started 2 years ago on LinkedIn. I'd been made redundant, as had every other marketer in the world, it seemed. And I came to LinkedIn to try and find a job. But there were lots of us out there. So how could I make myself stand out? A recruitment consultant at the time, because I was manically connecting to every recruitment consultant, asked the question, would you, in a post, would you ever do video? And my answer was, oh my goodness, no, I would never do that. I would never be so vain. 2 years later, I've done, I don't know, 50 plus. And obviously we've been doing this for 6 months, which is live video every week on a Monday. And as soon as you realize, actually, it's not about vanity. It's about attracting attention in order to get your message across. And actually, it's all about the message. It's not about you. And soon you realize that. And so once you realize that, you then can realize it really doesn't have to be perfect. You don't need a full face of makeup, filters, straight hair, anything like that.
Designer clothes and everything else.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
If you've seen some of my videos, I've been up on the moors, no makeup, the rain crashing into me and wind, or I'm in the woods and there's a train going past, or on LinkedIn, on here today, as soon as we went live, my dog started barking. It doesn't matter. It's life. So yeah, don't wait. There will never be perfect. Just do it. And you will learn so much from it that you will just get better and better. So let's start then. LinkedIn content. There's so many different types of content. And the point of LinkedIn is that you're looking for some kind of success, whatever that might be. So it might be that you're looking for your next hiring manager. It might be that you're looking for your next client. It's all about being found by somebody, isn't it? Somebody who's going to prove valuable to you in some way, making connections. And then you get referrals to further connections. So there's lots of different things to try in order to get your message across. You could do a text post. You could do a text with a photo. Something that's really hot on LinkedIn at the minute is text plus selfies. Now, we were talking about this a little bit before we came on air, because there's a lot of posts about this at the minute. It's getting quite controversial and heated. And I'm not going to say too much about that, but I think there are selfies and then there's clickbait.
Yeah.
That's all I'm going to say. So different kind of content, text with a photo, text plus a selfie, text plus a carousel, which could be multiple photos or a document. There are shared posts, which don't work. There are shared articles, text plus a GIF. Then there are polls and video and LinkedIn Lives. And now there's the new audio room type contents as well. So one for you in the audience. This is a social networking channel. That's what it's all about. It's about making connections to other people. So Of the above,
Mhm.
what type of content do you think is going to make the reader or the viewer get to know you the most to feel more of an emotional connection? Would it
Yeah,
be a
let us know in
text?
the chat what your opinion is.
And you can let me know. Now, you might argue that actually text with a GIF might do that. And GIFs are great, aren't they? Because they really can convey your humor and they make somebody smile. So you're getting that emotion. What you've got to obviously be careful with is who, because everything you create is for your target audience, that person who you want to hire you for whatever. So does that match them? Are you sharing it for them? Will they find it funny? Will they approve or not? Does it fit your brand? And that's the key question for GIFs. Some people do it extremely well. Claire Parsons is somebody who immediately comes to mind. She is the GIF queen. So GIFs might work for you. But has anyone said what kind of content creates the emotional
Oh,
connection the most?
Jonathan, he says that it's crucial, but he's not telling us.
No one's guessing. Okay. Well, I'm going to tell you then
Well,
anyway.
I was gonna say, in my view, because I'm always good for an unsolicited opinion, although it was slightly solicited, it's, I think anything that helps people know you can make you more memorable,
Yeah.
and by being imperfect, that can and, like, human, right? That can make you even more memorable than, like, a perfectly engineered video. Because I was just thinking, like, just of a simple thing, and that happened a couple of years ago during the lockdowns. There was a video that went viral. It's just a short little clip, and it was, of all random things, it was I think it was the Archbishop of Canterbury was sitting in his garden in his robes, doing a talk about something. I don't
Mhm.
remember the what. But this black cat of his walked up and just disappeared under the robes. And that got reshared so many times because this cat just saunters up, oblivious to everything, wanders under the robes. And so, of course, people made gifs out of it and made loops where there was like 20 cats like looping into his robes and stuff. But the result of that is people knew him to a
Yes.
degree.
And probably
And
warmed to him as a pet owner and all these
exactly,
things.
because a lot of people would see someone in clerical robes thinking, "Oh, this person's, like, super uptight and rigid and very, yeah, just very traditional and very strict and stern and so forth," like the standard austere
Mhm.
image of an archbishop. But to just have this cat wander up and like, "Hey, what's up, dude?" and wander into his robes, I mean, that's memorable.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So I think that's it, isn't it? Because
Yeah.
if we think about LinkedIn and as we scroll, there are the small pictures of your connections and their name and then text posts. If there's a selfie there, all of a sudden you're looking into somebody's eyes. And it's not about being beautiful or anything, but it's then making that connection between the text and a real person. And the reason why video goes so much further than that is because you see the person as they actually are.
Mhm.
So it's all about like me, know me, trust me.
Mhm.
Okay. So if
Yeah.
you think that less than 5% of the people on this platform post, and very few of them do video. And so if you do video, you're going to stand out so much more than everyone else. But you'll stand out, you'll be more memorable. But video creates that emotional connection so much more. Like me, know me, trust me. What I love about video is it accelerates that whole like me bit. You
Mhm.
can decide straight away, do you like me or do you not? And if you don't, you can either say, well, you're annoying, I'm not going to watch your video again, or you could block me. Um, when I was applying for jobs, I would often put a link to a video at the top of my CV.
Mm.
And that the whole idea of that was so that the hiring manager could decide straight away, do you like me? Do you
Mhm.
not? Because if you don't, let's not waste any time. I
Yeah.
don't want to come and meet you if if you're not going to like me. So there's that acceleration, but also the acceleration of getting to like somebody, getting to know somebody, and getting to trust somebody. So like me, know me, trust me.
We've got a couple things in the
Oh,
comments that might be a good point to get before you move on.
mhm.
Jonathan has said, I don't think you're targeting as directly as all that. Now, that was from a few minutes ago.
So I
So,
think that was where I was saying that when you're writing and creating posts on LinkedIn, you would think of who your ideal client is, and so you're creating content for them. It's up to you whether you decide to pinpoint and sniper exactly towards that person, or whether you widen that scope to kind of widen your network. That's entirely up to you. But I would be careful, because if you're here to do a certain thing, to achieve something, I certainly wouldn't post something that my ideal client would not like. So it might, wide appeal, but yeah, careful.
yeah. So Danny is making the point about human content, by which he means that that we are complex beings with a lot of different traits and labels, and having a mix of these, sometimes personal, sometimes work-related, sometimes funny, sometimes hobbies, lets us be authentic. To be authentic, that can work really well, and that does kind of show that whole like well-roundedness
Yeah,
of the person.
yeah,
Absolutely.
absolutely.
And for that personal post, oh, okay, that was just modifying what was there. And Jonathan is like, show vulnerabilities. Yep, absolutely. It doesn't show weakness to show a vulnerability. It shows strength, in fact, and awareness. So it can be a real, an
Really
asset to
cool.
the right people that you are trying to connect with. Because I think one of the keys that a lot of us forget sometimes on social media, especially for something like LinkedIn, where we're trying to either find clients or find jobs, typically, or build an audience. We're not going to be everybody's cup of tea, and that's just fine. Let the people who don't gel with us find someone they do gel with.
Yeah.
It's like let people self-filter and give them that opportunity, because that way your connections will be stronger and more focused and targeted, and you will attract your ideal audience.
Yeah, absolutely. We talked about this last time, didn't we? About kind of
Mhm.
finding your tribe and finding your niche. It's better to show yourself rather than stay safe, because if you stay safe, you won't stand out on the feed. But by
Mm.
showing yourself and targeting your niche, you'll become much more memorable. Absolutely.
Yeah, and
And
last comment at the moment is from Danny, and this kind of goes right back to what your next topic, I think. It's not personal branding if there's nothing personal.
there you go. There you go. And you won't stand out. So there we go. So it's like me, know me, trust me. So you accelerating all that. Know me. No, this is, and you can judge this. The people at home watching, or in the office, or wherever you are, do you feel like you know me? Especially those who kind of turn up every week and have seen me and seen my videos. Do you feel like you know me, that there's an emotional relationship there? Because I know from the people I watch on videos, I feel like this person is my friend.
Mm.
Because I'm so used to seeing them and being animated and all this kind of thing. And if I saw them in the street, I probably would greet them like an old friend. So you do feel when you watch somebody on video that you know them, actually really know them, and there is an emotional connection there. And also the other thing about video is, because you're talking and like me, your mouth is running away with you, it builds up trust, because I can't pretend to know about marketing if I'm talking about it. It's not putting on a show, it's just speaking. And so it's much more difficult to copy somebody else's post with a video, isn't it? Oh,
Sorry. I
somebody's
silenced my phone, but don't know why
it
that
doesn't
came
want
up.
to be silenced. So there you go. Like me, know me, trust me. So this is why video is so good. It makes you stand out, and it makes people like you, know you, and trust you, and it accelerates that journey so much more than any other posts, any other types of posts would. And absolutely, being personal, showing who you are, showing some vulnerability, yeah, showing that you're human will absolutely stand you in good stead for creating those real connections. So, is there anything else
Yeah,
at
there
the
was
minute before we go on to the next bit?
some dialogue between from Danny. Yeah, I think showing there is a line, of course, with the vulnerabilities, and I think it's one thing where people are asking for help, but yeah, it's like obviously LinkedIn is not your therapist, so there is, yeah, but I think the human posts, where sometimes people are saying, um, you know, hey, I'm doing this for, I'm doing this benefit activity for this cause because of this connection and it's personal. It humanizes things and it makes people perhaps more responsive in a sea of requests for donations, sponsorship, sponsor my fun run thing. If it's human and people feel connected to you, then they're more likely to want to support the cause. But yeah, there are occasions where it can go to the cringe level, I think, as well in social media.
I think so. I think I think showing humanity
Yeah.
is the way to go forward, isn't it? And showing weaknesses, and because we're not all the best at everything, and I think having that humanity and humility is a good thing, as long as you're not acting it. It's being authentic, isn't it? It's being you.
Yeah.
So there we go.
Yeah.
What else?
We've got Jonathan is actually the singing accountant. So
Very good.
man's got
Lots
skills.
and all.
Yeah. And yeah, Andy has to jump to another call, but of course, as usual, after the show, the replay is going to be available. So anybody who needs to drop off for a call at the top of the hour can certainly come back and just fast forward and get the bits that you missed at the end.
Yeah, we've hardly started, and yes, let's crack
let's
on.
roll on, because I know you had lots of great content.
Yeah. So let's burst some myths first. The myths that hold you back from doing video. First of all, some people think it must be professional with the cameras and the lighting and the sound, and this is rubbish, because as we were saying, this is about being human. This is a social platform. We are all humans. We all have smartphones. We all take videos.
Which ring at awkward times.
Yes. But we all take videos
silent.
of our cats, of our dogs, of our kids, of ourselves, of some, a deer in the path in front of us. We're used to shaky amateur footage. We're used to it. It's what we do. And we all do it. And that's what your ideal client does too. So don't worry about shaky, non-perfect video production for social media, because it's expected. So get that out of the way. Just do it. The next thing is, what else would I say? So this is one I hear quite a lot. Oh no, Vanessa, I've got a face for the radio. Just as you have a beach body, because everyone has a body that should be seen on a beach in this glorious weather, you have a face for video. If you can show up on a Teams call and a Zoom video call, and if you can walk into a client's office or walk into a meeting with your colleagues without wearing a bag over your head, you've got a face for video. Because everyone's human and everyone's acceptable, and no one has to be whatever the vision of perfect might be. So everyone's got a face for video. I don't want to hear that one ever again. And then the third one is, people will tell you write a script. Well, unless you've been training how to read from an autocue and you can set up an autocue on your screen below your camera, you do not need a script. And that will actually make you a bit robotic in front of your audience. So I would say, don't script it. I mean, it might help to write it out as a script first, but then to think about your story. But then let's go to bullet points.
I think bullet points are definitely key to that, because you don't want to go down a rabbit hole and kind of miss your key points.
Yeah,
but you don't want to be like clearly reading a script, which is not interesting to anyone. That just doesn't work. So
So they're the three myths that I could think about of what stops people doing video. Don't wait for perfect, just do it, just start, post, and get better. And so now I want to go through, I think it's five key things of how to get started. So it's what, who, where, when, and how. And that's what we're going to do next, how you can start doing video. So first of all, what, and this relates to the bullet points thing. Stories work really well. If you've not seen my post this morning, I reshared a video where I told a story. Stories work really well with a beginning, a middle, and an end. I just create videos now. I barely think about what I'm going to say, and I don't write bullet points. But if you've got something to get across and you're just starting out, then just think about what's the end message? What's the action that you want somebody to take? What's the call to action? And what is the beginning, the middle, and the end? What are the key points that you must get across? So that's the first thing. What are you going to say? Keep it short. If it's going to be, if there are too many bullet points, then split it into 3 or 4 videos. If something's really interesting, someone will listen to you for 5 minutes, but very few people will give you that time. So you better stick into less than 90 seconds, really. Although I often go over 3 minutes, but do people watch it? I don't know. But try and keep it nice and neat. People will decide, apparently within 3 seconds of your video starting, whether they're going to continue watching. So keep it short and snappy, and have this idea of exactly what the message is that you're going to get across in key bullet points. So that's what. Okay. The tech required, as I've said, it's just this. That's all you need. Or you can use your video camera and an app, something like the Loom app, on your computer. So that's all. You don't need anything else. So who? I prefer to be alone with no one else around. Now, Kim Gowing, who does a LinkedIn Live on Fridays, I know when she first started creating video, she actually had a friend hold the camera for her, and that gave her confidence that it was one less thing for her to worry about. So you might want to think about that if that would help you. I prefer to be on my own, with no one else around. But that's whatever you find comfortable. Okay, where? Now, this is important. It's going to be somewhere that's undisturbed, where you can be you, until you have that confidence that you can film in the middle of a big crowd. But I often walk around the woods or up on the moors when there's no one else around, and I can just merrily chat to myself. So that's fine. This morning's video was in the utility room in the house. So it's up to you. But think about the setting, and think about, if you decide to do it here at your desk, think about your background, because you don't want people to be looking at what's in the background, working something out if it's really busy, when you want them to be focusing on your message. Also think about how natural you're going to be. Now, we've had 2 years of talking into Teams cameras, haven't we, in Zoom? So it might be that you feel natural at your desk, but also think about that 3-second scroll. Is somebody going to be interested in that? So maybe out in your garden, or at a different view in your home, or whatever, or up on the moors, is actually going to capture someone's attention more. So think about where. But think where you're going to feel at ease. That's the most important, isn't it? When you're first starting, as I say, because in a year's time, you will be able to film within a crowd, in a stadium, because it won't matter. So there we go. That's where. When. So now I film when the idea comes to me. I used to set off dog walking, and in the first 5 minutes of the dog walk, I'd be thinking, what can I talk about? What can I talk about? And then I'd do it. So I multitask. This morning's video was, I was actually doing the washing. I was transferring the wet washing into the tumble dryer whilst telling the story. Yeah, you can. I tell the story when it's in my head, when I've got the idea. You might want to be more practiced. But if you're going on holiday this summer, if you're going to go for a walk every morning along the beach, without the family or whatever, maybe that's when you can do it. Think about kind of where you're going to be at ease, and when it fits into your day. And it doesn't have to be every day, of course. What else? How? Okay, really simple. Let's talk really quickly about how I do it. Now, I'm a bit of a technophobe, so there's going to be people watching who say, oh God, that's such a cluttered way of doing it. But this is my process and it might help you. So I'll go for the dog walk or whatever. I don't have a selfie stick. I press record on my phone and I talk to my little camera. There we go. I then get home, I upload it, I then copy the iCloud link, which I send to me on an email. I then get home to the PC, I download it from iCloud, and then I upload it onto Get Subly, which is where I do my subtitles. I'll then edit the subtitles, download it onto my PC, and then upload it natively to LinkedIn. So there's two really important points there. First of all, subtitles. Subtitles are really important. Again, you've got that 3 seconds to capture someone's attention. We know that more than 60% of people consume video content without sound. Yeah. So if in those first 3 seconds you're talking but no subtitles comes up, those 60% of people are going to carry on scrolling. Yep. They're not going to watch anymore. But think about the clarity of your message. If it's written down, it's much easier for your viewer to absorb, especially if that viewer is a non-native English speaker and LinkedIn is an international platform. Also, you might, like me, get a bit excited and speak really fast. So again, subtitles can really help to make that message clearer. Or if you've got a big accent as well, that subtitles will help. And then obviously there are people whose hearing isn't the best anyway. So for those hard of hearing, this subtitles make your message much more accessible. So I know a lot of people do post video without subtitles. You will lose 60-70% of your audience if you don't. So for a few minutes extra, I use Get Subly, which I pay for. There are lots of other free apps available and other paid apps. So you find one that works for you. And the second point there was uploading video natively. So from your PC or from your phone directly to LinkedIn. When you're scrolling through a feed, you do not want to go to another website. You do not want to go to YouTube. You as a viewer, you want it there. I don't like going to YouTube. I've come to LinkedIn for a reason. I don't want to go anywhere else. And I'm the same as many, many other users. Also, LinkedIn does not want you to leave the platform and go elsewhere. So it might be that the algorithm will punish you for that by putting links, because that's what it is. It's a link in your content. So you won't get promoted for doing that, that's for sure. To post native video, it's got to be fairly short. It's got to be, I think, less than 18-20 minutes. But we've already said the shorter, the better. If you are creating long form content, a video that's more than 20 minutes, then this is how you do it. Set up a LinkedIn Live and you can play your video via the platform as a live. You don't have to be there live. You can just play it via the platform. And that, did that come out right then?
Yeah,
tripping up.
Yeah, it made sense.
So yeah, you can get a live license, or not license, but the ability to do a LinkedIn Live and then post longer videos as LinkedIn Lives through this. And that is it, really. I'm hoping that that's given you loads of information. In a summary, perfect doesn't exist. Just do it. You will get better. I missed out the benefits. The benefits. Okay, we did talk, didn't we? You will become more visible to ideal clients and to hiring managers and to your network who will refer you. So when one of their network asks, who do you know who's great at this thing? If you've been on video talking about that, you are much more likely to be remembered by your network, who will then say, oh, you need to talk to Vanessa. So you'll directly be more memorable to the hiring managers in your network, but also you'll be referred because you're more memorable to your wider network. So that's the number one reason. The second reason is the big one for me. If you do video, you will grow confidence so much. If you've been doing
Absolutely.
video, honestly, as we have now, so I've been doing video for 2 years. If you ask me to go and be interviewed on BBC Radio Lancashire, as I was this morning, I didn't give it a second thought.
Mhm.
If you asked me to stand in a room of 100 or 1,000 people, it would not unduly upset me.
Yeah. It makes
My
a difference it really makes a difference just in work meetings and in work calls as well,
Yeah,
because you learn better to manage your nerves. Like, so if you're about to join a big client conversation and ordinarily you might have been a bit stressed by it and a bit fidgety, but if you're used to being on camera, if you're used to gathering your thoughts and presenting them,
yeah,
then that confidence and that capability just carries forward. And we do have a
absolutely.
few tech tips from Danny
Okay,
as
great.
well.
Yep.
So he's saying, turn good ideas to turn your phone to landscape for a better aspect. Now, I've seen a bit of debate on this, but I think that's something that people need to think about how their videos are going to be consumed, and if
Yeah.
especially, it depends. Like for Instagram, people tend to not go landscape, but for other platforms, they do. So here on LinkedIn, landscape is a bit more common, definitely.
Yeah, I think as well, because like as you say, there have been studies about this, and like I say, TikTok takes over the whole phone, so you do that portrait.
Yeah.
But because we consume TV in landscape, that's
Mhm.
what we are more comfortable viewing.
Yeah.
So yeah, you're absolutely right. For LinkedIn, landscape is best.
Yeah, and the other next tip, and this is not necessarily saying you have to have professional lighting rigging or anything like that, but just think about your light. And you don't have to be a supermodel to like face into the light, but if you're going to be on camera at all, you should keep that in mind so you don't look like just one of those silhouette blobs, in the witness protection program, as Danny says. And also aspect. I think we've all seen those LinkedIn videos or Teams calls where you spend the conversation looking up somebody's nose or like looking
Sorry.
at triple chins or whatever, even for people who don't normally have them. Or what I like, the Kilroy effect, where you're looking at somebody and you just see this part of their head the whole
How
time, which
many?
is
How
a bit
2 years in?
disconcerting.
How many people still make us look at their foreheads?
Yeah, but I mean, yeah, it's just a bit of a funny one, that it's like, just check yourself. Don't stare at yourself while you're on video, but just make sure at the start of your video that you're well framed, you're well lit, and, also, I have personally, like, I would add to that, be very cautious about virtual backgrounds because it's incredibly distracting when you see people pixelating and kind of moving in and out of focus. If you use a virtual background, it works best if you have high contrast between yourself and your native background. So if you're in front of a wall and the wall has light color paint, don't wear a light color shirt that's the same color, or the algorithm for the automatic background or the virtual background can't figure where you stop and the wall starts. And
Yeah.
that's when you get the worst of the pixelation problems. You can get, for just like a very, very low price, a temporary green screen, like just green
Mhm.
fabric, that I've used before, and just used literally clothes pegs and pegged it up against a curtain, and then filmed in front of that when I needed to do a virtual background, and it worked fine.
Yeah.
So again, it's like no big investment needed, but try not to use virtual backgrounds, but if you have to, use them sensibly, because pixelation just makes it look a bit amateurish and it's a distraction from the message, which is the bigger point.
So Danny says, fun fact, Shrek can you not use virtual
This is
backgrounds.
true
I
because he is
hear
green.
that the Hulk has the same problem. Yeah.
Mm. Yeah, and that is something where if you want to avoid having your video hijacked and used in all kinds of weird memes and gifs, green is not the way forward, like the bright green, because that's the same color as green screen. So anybody can take a green screen utility and just easily overlay something in its
Oh,
place. So,
oh, there you go. Never knew that. So there you go. In summary, perfect doesn't exist, but we want to meet you. We want to make an an emotional connection to you. So do video. Please do video, and then please tag me in it so that I can then come and
Me
celebrate
too, me too.
you doing a
Don't
video,
leave me out of the fun.
and tag Melinda as well. If you've been inspired to do video, knowing that it doesn't have to be perfect, knowing that you do have a face for video, and knowing that you don't have to write a script, then let us know. Let us know.
And you have believe it or not, you have a voice for audio as well. Because a lot of people say, "Oh, I hate my voice on video," or "I hate my voice, like, to hear my answer phone message back," or something. You know what? Everybody does.
Yeah.
Just about. That is normal. I think we're almost programmed, like, instinctively to not like our own voice recording, and you think how many actors say they won't watch films that they've done, and these are, like, Oscar winners,
Yeah.
because they just don't like seeing themselves and hearing themselves on film. So, basically, move beyond that. Don't
Move
let
beyond
that
that.
hold you back. But we
Absolutely.
are amazingly, we're out of time
I
already.
know we are, isn't it crazy? So I am just going to say that next week
Yeah, we're back next week.
we're back. Sarah is back from holiday, and we have a guest, Chris O'Connell, with us. And he,
Amazing.
I think, is going to talk about how to be the CEO of your own life and how he built up his business and the lessons he's learned. So I'm sure there's something, I think that's the topic. I think it's in discussion. There's a few ideas.
Yeah, we've been kind of debate, there's lots of ways this could go, but that's, I think that was the kind of the main theme that we're pursuing so far.
I think so. So that'll be really interesting. So do join us next week to connect, learn, and evolve on the Business Brunch. And we'll see you then. Have a great week.
Thank you all. See you next week. Bye.
I've got to do that bit. I forgot to put the thing on so I can do that bit. There we go. Bye, everyone.
Bye.